It seems a very modern British political illusion, namely the irresistible allure of certainty in uncertain times, as peddled now by Nigel Farage and his party, Reform UK. A new mega poll suggests they're soaring towards 180 seats if an election were held today, but of course it's not going to be held today, so it's an absurd question. We shouldn't confuse fireworks with firepower, because history, reason, and reality all suggest something quite different. In a fragmented political landscape, Farage offers the rarest of commodities. He offers clarity. His slogans are uncomplicated. His positions, even when outrageous, are unambiguous, and to a fatigued electorate, still frustrated after Brexit, something he caused, COVID, and a slow-moving Labour government, that simplicity has a seductive pull. But you've got to remember, simplicity is something that children also do. Farage doesn't hedge, he thunders. He doesn't moderate, he multiplies. And yet the path from clickbait to cabinet is far longer and far steeper than a sensational headline or an inflated poll can suggest. This is the lure of certainty. But certainty is not the same as credibility. Nor is noise the same as numbers on polling day. And the More in Common survey of 16,000 voters suggests Reform would win 180 seats today. That sounds extraordinary, but today is not election day. And I must add, there are 4 years to go before the next scheduled general election. 4 is a number we should remember. 4 years in British politics is not an eternity, it's a different epoch. Surges like this, particularly from fringe or protest parties, often precede dramatic deflations. Think UKIP, think Change UK, think the Greens in 2015. Let's also remember that polls are models, not outcomes. They don't account for candidate quality, ground game, or local nuance. Reform UK at present has only, how many MPs? Oh, remember that magic number? 4. And one of those was lost in short order. It's hardly they had 5, and one of those was lost in short order. It's hardly a government in waiting. 4. To believe Reform is now on an irreversible march to power is to forget the fate of another insurgent force, the SDP. In the early 1980s, and I remember this very well, the Gang of Four, Roy Jenkins, Shirley Williams, David Owen, and Bill Rogers, all significantly better MPs, significantly better politicians than any of the intake of Reform UK, formed the SDP. Williams, a formidable politician by any measure, had cabinet experience, eloquence, and cross-party respect. She arguably outclasses everyone currently aligned with Reform. And at one point, the SDP Liberal Alliance polled above 40%. But what happened in the 1983 general election? They won 23 seats. 23! 23. Let's keep repeating that number. Reform's projected 180 has that same whiff of unreality. When it comes to insurgent parties, Britain's first-past-the-post system is not just unkind, it is cruel. So, if not Reform, then who? Where does the current fragmentation of British politics ultimately lead? I'd argue this, that while Labour's early stumbles are genuine, and while Farage's appeal may remain potent in certain areas, the real long-term beneficiary of public disenchantment is likely to be the Lib Dems. Why? Because when the noise settles and the voters search for a non-threatening moderate alternative to Labour or to the Conservatives, especially disillusioned Tories and cautious centrists, they are likely to rally. They're unlikely to rally to Farage's drum. They're likely to rally to the Lib Dems. Reform is not the natural home of the socially liberal or the economically anxious, but the Lib Dems might well be. If Reform shouts, the Lib Dems whisper, and that whisper may prove more powerful in the end. So, let's look at this latest poll not as a prophecy, but as a provocation. Yes, British politics is fragmented. Yes, Farage is exploiting that. But fragmentation does not equal transformation. Reform is riding a wave of grievance and distrust, but waves crash. And when they do, it's often the quiet swimmers, the Lib Dems perhaps, who are still afloat. After all the water after all the waves have receded, after everything has calmed down. As for Farage, He may remain the most potent political pyrotechnician of his generation, but even fireworks fade, and when blasted by a surge of waterworks, fireworks can be quite damp and useless.